Here, I'm making a short video to give you some tips and point out a few mistakes that can keep us from making progress in pumping. The first tip is to try not to cut corners when it comes to equipment. Pumping is a discipline that's really, really demanding, not just physically and technically, but also in terms of the gear you use. So it's true that in some sports, you could say the equipment doesn't have much impact, but for us, we really have to have, well, gear on a wing that glides well, basically really good equipment. That's it. Between a 6 wing with 2 ratios and a 9, 10 or even 13 wing, it really makes all the difference, even the shapes and so on. And lately, with all the new wings, there's truly been a real revolution in pumping. Before, it used to take a year of hard work to succeed, and even then, not everyone managed to pull it off. And now, with the new high aspect wings, the discipline is really open to everyone, and anyone can truly succeed. So when you're starting out, if you already have some wing gear or something, you can already give it a try, see if you like it and so on. But if you're really motivated, if you say to yourself, I want to succeed, and you commit to it, well, if you're motivated, you will succeed. There's no doubt about that. So you might as well buy the right gear from the start, because having the wrong gear at the beginning can make you lose a lot of sessions. And in the end, pumping on a 6:2 ratio wing and an 11:2 ratio wing is extremely different. So in the end, you gain a bit of experience at the start, but when it comes to pumping, you basically have to relearn everything. So really, it's not a sport where you should try to cut corners, unfortunately. But when you get, the new wings or the new gear, there's no reason you shouldn't succeed. A second mistake you can make is sometimes giving up too quickly. When you want to get into pumping, you really have to tell yourself it's going to take time, even when you have the new wings, etc. Some people will succeed very quickly. Honestly, there are people who manage it in a week, and then there are others for whom it takes months. So you have to stay motivated and really not give up. So if you don't give up and keep your motivation, there won't be any problem. Another tip is to film yourself, especially if you're on your own. Learning with others is already great, and doing group sessions is even better, especially if there are people who already know how to pump. Don't hesitate to copy their technique and ask for advice, because that's really how you make progress. When you're learning alone on your own, it's even harder, both in terms of motivation and the fact that you might start to get bored, mess up, fall in the water. Group sessions are really fun, and they help you improve. They also give you the chance to try out lots of new gear, compare your technique and so on. And if you're alone, and unfortunately, well, that's just how it is, I really recommend filming yourself. And there are actually lots of groups on Facebook, WhatsApp groups, or even on Instagram. Don't hesitate to post your videos and ask others for advice. The community is very supportive, and we're always there to give advice. That's how you make progress. And even if you don't want to share your videos, just watching what you do lets you compare with other videos you see on YouTube. It really helps you realize, well, I thought I was doing it right, but actually what I'm doing looks ridiculous. And then you can correct yourself, understand what's wrong and so on. Another piece of advice I can give you is to really try to learn one thing at a time. With pumping, everything is different. You have no points of reference. So in every session, you really need to try to make progress step by step. So for each session, try to set yourself a goal, something specific to work on. A goal, for example, could be your gears, your hand position, your foot position. It could be lots of different things. You need to set yourself one goal at a time. And if you make yourself focus on that goal throughout the whole session, then next time your brain will have absorbed it, and you'll be able to focus on a second goal. And that way you learn much faster. Because if you try to think about doing everything at once, you get lost, you can't manage, you get overwhelmed, and you really can't do anything anymore. You really have to learn step by step. Usually the first step is to nail your start. Knowing how to pump is one thing, and knowing how to do a dock start is another. So dock starting is about knowing how to pump starting from a dock. So you might already know how to pump, but if you haven't mastered the dock start technique, launching yourself well, the start is really something you have to learn on its own. So generally, you first learn how to launch yourself from the dock, your start. And once you get that down well, you start learning how to pump. And when it comes to practice sessions, there's no point in doing 3-hour sessions, grinding away all morning. So it's a bit annoying, but it's true that when you're starting out, you get overwhelmed very quickly. And sometimes you just keep going and going and going, and you can't focus anymore. So don't hesitate to take breaks, relax, really clear your mind between runs, because otherwise it gets really difficult. Sometimes you feel like giving up, you keep failing over and over, and that's it. And Sometimes just a 1 hour session is enough. And for the sessions, it's better to do one session each week, or if you can, several sessions in a week rather than long sessions spaced 2 weeks apart. Of course, that will depend on your schedule. But for example, doing half an hour of pumping every 2 or 3 days will help you progress much more than 3 hours every 2 weeks. That's for sure. And if you can't do sessions very regularly, training at home can be really super useful. Training at home isn't talked about much, but it really makes a difference between sessions if you can't get out of it. So practicing getting on the board on your bed or doing pumping movements in the air in front of the TV, even if it feels a bit silly, can really help you build good habits, make progress, and so on. So there you go. I hope this has helped you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can also subscribe if you want more videos. All right.